So my stance on the utility rate increase, I believe that, at this point, we don't necessarily know the solid financial footing of the city. As you may all know, Oxnard recently became the second city in the last 5 years, the first since Bell, California, to go under scrutiny and investigation by the State Controller's Office. I do believe that there is severe infrastructure needs to our utility infrastructure. However, at this point, what I believe should happen, that they should only be increased to the rate at which it will bring us at capacity. And we need further study to see really the extent of the investment that is needed. But I do not believe we should increase or privatize, I should say, utilities, especially those essential public utilities and services. Those are public for a reason, and I believe that they should remain public.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Everybody's coming in under 1 minute, so for that.
Perfect.
All righty. We have another question. Same order. I believe we should stick with that. This is a question about public safety pensions. Are you ready, willing, and able to have a discussion on this matter?
Not only am I ready to have a discussion, I've led the discussion along with my colleague, Mayor Pro Tem Ramirez. Right now, in the police and fire department, 47% of a firefighter or a policeman's salary, it goes towards their pension, in addition to their salary. 47%. And in the next 5 years, it's going to get half of their salary. So if you make $100,000 a year as a cop or as a fireman, the city's contributing $50,000 for each one of those a year. That is unsustainable. I support public pensions, but we need to find a way to make those pensions sustainable.
Well, along the same lines, if you think about what's going on with pensions, unfortunately a lot of companies nowadays don't do pensions, they do 401ks. I'm not suggesting that we do the same thing with our public officials, police and fire. But what I am saying is that it is unsustainable. We have to consider that. We have to seriously consider that conversation and start having that conversation to figure out what those next steps have to be. In corporate America, pensions went away. We shouldn't do that to our firefighters and our police officers, but the discussion needs to be had. Like Mayor Flynn said, it's unsustainable long term, and that has caused a lot of companies, unfortunately, to eliminate because of that. Thank you.
And Miguel?
I completely agree as well. This conversation is, I am not only prepared to engage in, but quite frankly, I think it is long overdue. When you look at communities, not only Oxnard, but throughout the country, we're starting to really see that our current models are not sustainable. And to that effect, we need to be able to bring folks to the table to really have a serious conversation and really look up down the line 10, 15, 30, 50 years down the line. We need to start looking at more efficiencies throughout the city. We look at the shortage that we have throughout the city, 160 vacant positions, 18 positions within the police department that have been eliminated, forcing employees, not only in police and fire, to work overtime, which is more costly to the city, but we really need to examine and be more transparent with our general fund budget, as well as additional revenues that we have, as well as look at economic development opportunities, because at the end of the day, we know that when businesses succeed, that tax revenue is what is going to allow for Oxnard to succeed. That is what funds our city services, and we need to really bring these different stakeholders from the state, local, and our own union groups to have this type of conversation.
Okay.
Looking ahead.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Next question. What is your position on SOAR versus Sustain VC?
So once again, in addition to my distinguished colleague, Mayor Pro Tem Ramirez, I'm an advocate of the 2050 extension of the SOAR initiative. It is one of the greatest quality of life measures ever in the history of Ventura County. It has served Oxnard well. It has served all the cities of Ventura County well. And I believe when it comes to major developments outside of that donut that's drawn around each and every city in the county, that it should be up to the voters to decide if that boundary is violated. End of discussion. It's about the voters. It's about you making the choice. We need to get special interest out of politics. And this is an area where we've seen in Oxnard that developers have bought their way right through their projects. And we've ended that.
My position is a little different. I'm thinking about 2030. The reason I think 2030 is because things change in our communities. And there's unforeseen consequences that happen when you lock yourself up to 2050. You think about the population growth, you think about expansion that needs to happen, The reality is, Oxnard is a big city with a small town mentality. But the people have to determine whether we do smart development. It's up to you as a resident of Oxnard. So I strongly believe that we have to be able to adjust with the times. It's not fair for us to lock all of the landowners, all the farmers down to 2050 with taking away their rights to their land, to their property. We shouldn't do that. So I believe 2030 keeps us on track and allows us to make the right decisions for the community. Thank you.
Miguel, I have to question you. Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
I will do this. I will do this at 30 so that you don't have to guess, all right?
Perfect.
All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Sure.
And the question one more time?
The question is, what is your position on SOAR versus Sustain VC?
You know, I think SOAR, and I remember when that initiative was first brought out, many years ago, with a very aggressive public information and education campaign. It's done, tremendous job to really prevent us from really growing further, if you will, and really trying to control urban sprawl. However, now that we have an alternative with Sustain VC, that is one of the initiatives that I personally feel more comfortable with for many reasons. First and foremost, looking at the individual, the coalition of folks that have come together to really propose this alternative. I think that with we don't know where we're going to be at in 15 years, let alone 20 or 30 years down the line. There's going to be new efficiencies, new technologies, and quite frankly, Sustain VC really provides an opportunity for us to really, more than anything, be very safe around the schools that we currently have. There are many high schools throughout Oxnard, with Pacifica, Hueneme, and even Rio Mesa that has agricultural land around them. And I really believe that Sustain VC is the alternative. What is going to be confusing for folks is not only that these methods are both complicated, but also competing.
One thing is clear, he's just as loquacious, if not more loquacious than I am.
Gets it out there. Excellent. The second one is 10 seconds, so he does have wind down time. Okay. Next question. Oxnard needs greater civic engagement. How will you create greater civic participation?
Well, civic participation is right here in this room, but most importantly, it's neighborhood councils. I come from the neighborhood council system. I'm a member of the Wilson neighborhood, and Jack Villa back here, who's a candidate for the city council, has led the effort, and I've joined him in that effort to reach out to more people, to activate more neighborhoods, and most importantly, when we talk about how expensive it is for law enforcement, we need more people engaged in Neighborhood Watch. And Neighborhood Watch and people in Neighborhood Watch can't replace cops, but they can certainly do a great job at keeping the city and our neighborhoods safer.
So I agree. Civic engagement, in order to continue to get individuals involved, it starts through the communities, neighborhood watches, neighborhood councils. But I think we also have to go a little bit deeper. I believe that it should start at a younger age. We need to get people in the high schools involved. We need to go in there, create clubs, get them involved in the city politics, get them involved, go to community colleges, let's get them involved. Reality is, they're our future. They're the generation. They're the ones that are going to shape us. They're going to make Oxnard what it's going to become. So we need to really go through a grassroots campaign and start getting people involved and get those youths going. And that's where it starts. It starts in the high schools, it goes to the community colleges, and that's what we need to do. Thank you.
Here we go, Miguel.
Perfect. Civic engagement has been at the core of everything that I've done. Looking at my last 2 years with the Oxnard Police Department, we would not have been able to navigate some of the most difficult situations in the entire history of the Oxnard Police Department and of the city of Oxnard had we not reached out to neighborhoods and residents to be more involved. The problem with Oxnard is that, we have a communication problem. We're right outside of LA, and we're too far south out of the Santa Barbara Central Coast Market, which literally puts us in a bubble. I really strived with everything that I did to make sure that every approach and every program and special initiative that I did had three-pronged approach to inform, educate, and empower residents to be partners with us in the city, and we were recognized by the state and the U.S. Department of Justice. So I will continue that commitment to really reach out, inform, educate, and empower residents to be partners with the city, with the myriad of challenges that we had ahead of us, because that's the only way we will be able to succeed.
Excellent. Thank you. That was it. Ladies and gentlemen, that was it for the mayoral candidates.
Big closing statements?
And you have, questions. Go on then. We were going to anyway, but we're having time.
Should I start first? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about delivery. When I was elected to the city council 10 years ago, graffiti had ravaged the city. It was a major quality of life issue in the city. I put a stop to it. I led the effort, and right now we have one of the best graffiti action programs anywhere in the state of California. I led an initiative in 2008 about traffic, and even though that failed, out of the Oxnard Traffic Initiative came the Intelligent Traffic System, a $9 million investment in dealing with the traffic problems in the city of Oxnard. We're $240,000 away from a software program that will make traffic and alleviate the traffic congestion in the city of Oxnard. And finally, everything that I've done on this city council has been about you, the people. I don't accept special interest money. No one's my boss. You're my boss, okay? No special interest is my boss, and everything I've done has been transparent, has been honest, and I'm here to ask you for another term as your mayor. Thank you very much.
Well, first off, I want to thank you all for the time that you've given me. And let me just say that this is a very important election. It really is. It's time to make that decision for change. And I believe you have to think about who you're going to vote for. Number one, vote for someone who doesn't have a political agenda behind them. I don't have endorsements from the fire department, from the police department, from unions, etc. I didn't seek endorsements. I didn't raise funds. I didn't go out there campaign and ask for people to give me money. Everything that I'm doing self-funding. And I'm doing this because I truly care about the city, and I really care about everyone here. And I want to make a difference. Think about leadership. A lot of it is leadership. I have over 20 years of business leadership that I want to bring to this table. I've helped these Fortune 500 companies, and I want to do the same thing for the city of Oxnard. There's no special interest here. It's about you. You, the residents of city of Oxnard, you're the only ones that I am going to work hard for. It's just for you. Thank you.
Miguel.
I want to thank you all for joining us tonight and allowing me to participate in this forum from 3,000 miles away in Washington, D.C. I know you can't see the Capitol behind me, but nonetheless, this is really what has propelled me, empowered me to really take on this opportunity at this point. I'm running for Oxnard Mayor to restore trust and leadership in the office of the mayor as well as in City Hall. I will tell you that we have been through some very difficult challenges in the last 4 years that have fractured relationships throughout the city, and there is more that we can do. You look at my record at what I've been able to do, working at the state level, working at the federal level, working in the White House under President Obama, and this is all that I want to bring back to Oxnard, to really inspire not only an entire community, but the next generation to do better. We must do better, and I hope I can count on your support on November 8th. Thank you so much.
We're going to start, of course, with the opening statement. Please go right ahead.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jack Villa, and I'm a candidate for Oxnard City Council. I've been born and raised in Oxnard. My family's been here since 1916. 35 years in the Postal Service. Union president, active in the union, in the workplace, protecting the collective bargaining and the workroom rights. I've been involved in the neighborhood council now after my retirement, recruiting neighborhood councils and involvement in the neighborhood. Also, I was on the ethics committee appointed by the mayor, and I asked for your vote. I'm the worker. The other candidates still do the talking, but I'm going to do the walking. I've done the walking. I've done the work for 38 years. The other candidates aren't even 38 years old yet. I'm the original product of Oxnard. Thank you.
I'm going to ask you that we keep all of the verbal and manual noise to a minimum.
Hello, my name is Oscar Madrigal. I'm born and raised here in the city of Oxnard. I was raised in the Molina neighborhood. I'm a graduate of Channel Island High School here in Oxnard. I'm also a graduate of Cal Lutheran, where I got a bachelor's degree in history and a master's degree in public policy and administration. Currently, I am a teacher. I taught history before. I currently teach Spanish at Oaks Christian School. I am running for city council because I feel that I can make a difference to the city. I can make a difference to the people of Oxnard, and more importantly, I could, help the youth. I want, like, before when I worked at Pacific High School, I want to show the kids that, hey, this person made it out of the Gloria neighborhood, I can too. And that's part of the reason why I'm running for city council. Thank you.
Oh, no, in between is fine.
Between
Not
is
in the
fine,
middle.
okay.
No.
Hi, good evening everyone. My name is Genevive Flores-Haro and I'm running for Oxnard City Council. I'm running for Oxnard City Council because I want to create an Oxnard where both families and businesses thrive. A little bit about myself. I grew up here in Oxnard. I'm a very proud product of public schools, attended schools in the Rio School District and graduated from Oxnard High School. I have 2 degrees from the University of Southern California, including a master's degree in public administration. For the past couple years, I worked as a staffer for Congresswoman Julia Brownlee, where I assisted the most at-need communities here in Ventura County and in Oxnard with Social Security issues and Veterans Administration issues. Currently, I work as the associate. Oh, it's pretty. Sorry. Currently, I work as the associate director of the Mixteco Indígena Community Organizing Project. It's a nonprofit located just down Calle 5, where we work with indigenous immigrant farm workers mostly. I believe in the entrepreneurial and resourcefulness of the people of Oxnard and feel that we all want a city where we can grow old, live, and love in. And as your next city council member, I will see to that. Thank you.
That's good. That's a good thing here. This is new, but it's 30 seconds and then again 10 seconds, okay? Just so you know, you don't have to stop as soon as you see the second
Got it,
go.
okay.
Here we go. Thank you.
All right, good evening. My name is Orlando Dozier, and I'm 53. He's not the only old guy up here. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a neighbor, and I've been in Oxnard for 10 years now. I'm a 20-year military retired vet. I've worked for Lockheed Martin for 7 years. I understand processes. I deal with hundreds of millions of dollars on a day-to-day basis, so numbers don't scare me. I'm running for Oxnard for City Council because I think that Oxnard needs someone to understand the finances and to keep us on track now that we're back on track. And I hope you consider me for your vote this November. Thank you.
Thank you. Start this end, go across, and then. First question. We have a new experienced police chief, Scott Whitney, a friend of Café On A. Who's going in to ask? Will you support the chief on improving youth/cops relationship?
I have one minute, right? I'm happy that Mr. Whitney is our new police chief. He's homegrown, went to Santa Clara High School. I know him real well now that he's police chief. And yes, I agree with I worked 30 years with the youth, coaching basketball and all kinds of sports, AYSO. And all those 30 years of working with the youth, I've never met a bad kid. Just bad decisions by kids. And that's where we need to put our resources in the youth. We can have more police all we want, but the youth is where we need our emphasis on from the ages of 14 to 24 as far as mentorships and apprenticeships to allow them to make the good decisions in the city.
It is essential that we help out the youth. They are the future of the city of Oxnard. From even a smaller age, I know the Oxnard School District has some after-school programs that the city funds. I think we should do more of that. We should continue funding not only from the city, we need to work with local churches, we need to work with local businesses to try to get the youth involved. Because simply, if there's nowhere to go after school, that's when they get into problems. And then it becomes a long-term issue. If we want our city to thrive, then it is up to our youth. When we get our youth moving in a positive direction, long-term it'll help the city and we will all have a better way of life. Thank you.
I was actually really excited when Mr. Whitney was hired on as our police chief. Louder? Oh, sorry, louder. I was actually really excited to hear Mr. Whitney was hired on as our police chief. And I absolutely, to reiterate what's been said, you know, the youth intervention is very necessary. Before I was with the Congresswoman's office, I actually worked at an after-school program. And it was a quality after-school program. It was in Ventura. and I would like to see more of those here in Oxnard. I don't know of any that are through the city currently, maybe through Powell, one or maybe each, but what I worked for was a private after-school program. But definitely it's that quality mentorship, it's that, you know, seeing someone who comes from your neighborhood, seeing what they're doing and what they look like, and inspiring the children to achieve more. And I definitely would want to work with Mr. Whitney to help create something similar like that here in the city of Oxnard.
I first met Chief Whitney when I was chairman of the Community Relations Commission. I was chair during the very troubled times when a lot of tragic things happened in Oxnard. And I can say firsthand that Chief Whitney was always on par. He kept decorum, and even though there were times when we couldn't come to agreement and meetings had to be closed because it got a little ruckus, he was always a professional. So I think that's a very good move for Oxnard to hire from within their community. They also broke out a youth commission while I was on that committee. And now that youth commission, I think, should be expanded into the neighborhood council. So I would like to see advocates from our youth council in the neighborhood council. Thank you.
All right, that's that question. Next question, and this time we're going to start with you, Oscar, okay? How should Oxnard maximize its great resources of the beaches, and Channel Islands Harbor, which it has neglected to degrade all these years?
Well, first of all, there are a lot of parts of Oxnard that aren't being utilized to their full potential. In order to get people to the beaches, you know, we need to attract people there. It takes advertisement, it takes time. However, if it's built, and I know they're going to renovate probably Channel Islands Harbor, that area, it's a beginning and it's a process. It'll take time. However, there is the collection as an example of something that's been successful. We are currently still working on the downtown. I believe Channel Islands Harbor will be a great place if we put effort into it. We need to think long term. By thinking long term, we need to build some housing, something that is walkable for residents of that area. It'll attract more people there. Thanks.
Maybe.
So as far as getting folks out to the beach, I often think of myself where, you know, sometimes you forget that the beach is 10 minutes right away. And so I would want the city to reach out to the citizens and just remind them, hey, you have, you know, this national park in your backyard, you have a beach in your backyard. Oxnard's nickname is the gateway to the Channel Islands, and I don't know how many people remember that or keep that in mind. So I would advocate for reaching out to folks and encouraging them to you know, spend their weekend at the beach instead of, you know, going to Carpinteria Beach or Ventura Beach. There's a great beach right down 5th Street. There's a great beach right down Woolley, and I would definitely encourage that kind of outreach, just to, again, to let people know it's out there and go visit it, because it's fantastic. How many sunsets do we miss? A lot of them.
I think we took a very big step in advocating to get our beaches back from the power plants. Recently, I think yesterday, there was an ad in the newspaper where one of the state boards that governs the placement of these power plants finally ruled in our favor. So that's a big step. Now that looks like we're going to get these power plants off our beaches, I would like to have our beaches identified as tourist destinations. I think we should build our own pier. I don't see why we don't have a pier. And I would also like to protect the natural resources by protecting any wildlife that we have.
Yes, being here all my life, when I was young, I used to ride my bicycle all the way down 5th Street or down Woolley Road and to go to the beach. Oxnard's beaches is probably the best resource for tourism and for living in an environment. At one time, we had this Casa Serena was very successful, and the lobster trap and the whale's tail, and it was a very vibrant area. I believe that can come back. I think we need to reinvest in that area. Right now, it's kind of blighted and run down a little bit, and I think we should put some resources into that community in that area, because at one time it was vibrant, and I think it can come back again. Thanks.
Thank you. This time I think we'll start with Orlando. Does Oxnard need a traffic ordinance so developers have to be responsible for improvements needed with their developments?
Being a River Park resident, I saw from firsthand, from ground up, how a problem comes about with the developments and the requirements that they bring about on the current parking. We do need some regulation and we do need some type of guidance in place, I feel, to help ensure that when developers develop these communities for us, that they consider the amount of traffic and the amount of parking requirements that will be needed. Thank you.
You're up, please.
Now, ask me a question.
Yeah, sure. Does Oxnard need a traffic ordinance so developers have to be responsible for improvements needed with their developments?
Yes, a lot of developments, I think, should put more emphasis on their parking and a lot on their traffic that they inherit when they develop. But I believe that, yes, I agree with the question, that there should be some type of ordinance to help relieve some of the parking and traffic in the area.
Go ahead.
Yes, we do need regulation, but at the same time, we need to think long-term. Traffic is an issue, parking is an issue. No one's saying it is not, but when you think about this long-term, we need to improve our public transportation. Public transportation will be key to, one, you don't need 4 cars for a family of 4 living in a house. Another thing, you will see less traffic if we had better public transportation and it could get us to a particular place in less than an hour. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Please, go ahead.
So I think it would be behooving to any developers coming into Oxnard, at least when they're making a presentation before the council, before residents, to include the traffic component of it. I know certain times during certain parts of the day, if there's a school in the area or just, if there's construction even, the traffic in the city can get pretty bad and it'll take you 30 minutes to get from Oxnard Shores to over to the 101. So it definitely is something to be considered when you're looking at what you're going to build. Is it going to be a business? Is it going to be residential? I know there was talks of putting apartments over by that piece of land by Pacifica, and it's just like, that's a major intersection, and like, was traffic taken into consideration when that was on the table, so to speak? So I would definitely love to see something with rush traffic regulation and oversight with new development.
Everybody got a chance at that one? Easy in my head. Go ahead, start.
Again, my name is Jack Villa. I'd like your support for City Council. Born and raised. The other candidates have not put in the years. I've put in 38 years of community work. I'm a worker. I do the work. I don't just do the talking. What I'm going to bring to the City Council is a new positive change of engagement with the neighborhoods. One of the council members, the incumbent, there was 100 council meetings in 2015. There was over 100 neighborhood council meetings in 2016. He didn't go to any of them. I will be going to those neighborhood councils to listen to the voice of the neighborhoods. That's what's lacking in the neighborhood councils. I'm looking for a new engagement of communication with the neighborhoods and going out to meet with them and understand their problems and the businesses as well. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Well, go ahead. Sure.
Again, like I previously said, I was born and raised here, but more importantly, I will bring something to the city that is lacking. Yes, I know people come here obviously by the turnout. People want to know what's going on in their city. However, this is a city of 200,000 people. Where is the other 199,000? So that's probably what I'll bring to the city. I'll bring more community involvement. Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for being here, and thank you to the Good Pub for holding space for us this evening. I really appreciate it. You know, I would bring to the city council passion, experience, and perspective that I don't think the city council has had, or, well, because it's my own, you know, because I'm not on the city council. You know, as someone who, you know, I want to buy a home in the city. I want to raise a family in the city. My wife's back there, it's her birthday. And, you know, like, we're invested in the city because, you know, we're here for the long run, and we're here, and we want to take root in the city. And I would, as your next city council, definitely would want to make Oxnard, you know, elevate where we're at for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank the Good Club for inviting us and giving us a chance to speak out. What I bring to the City Council is over 20 years of financial experience. I've closed more than 100 material weaknesses, so these material weaknesses are not a bad thing. They are a good thing. They point to the areas where we need to fix, the areas that need to be fixed. Now we need to go to the next stage, and that's to put out a plan and develop a plan, put it against a schedule, and close them. We're halfway there, and I'd like to take us to the finish line. So I hope you consider me this November for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next speakers are for Oxnard City Clerk, Peter Domenico, Deshay Ford, Tiffany Lopez, Sylvia Paniagua, and Jose Torres. Jose Torres or Sylvia Paniagua here? I guess not.
Please take 1 minute to introduce yourselves and make an opening statement, please. Yes, we'll start.
Hi, everybody. My name is Peter Domenico. I'm a local attorney, and I'm running for City Clerk of Oxnard. And you know, I'm a long-term resident of Oxnard. My wife was born, raised here. We have a daughter, so I have a lot at stake in being sure that Oxnard succeed. You know, the city clerk is not this exciting kind of position like mayor, where I can make a lot of promises to you guys. It's an administrative position that administers you know, laws and rules and make sure that Oxnard's government is transparent. It makes sure that you have access to records, that you know what the city council is doing, that that local elections are run fairly. This is the kind of job that you need an attorney for. I mean, it's not required, but it's definitely recommended, especially in the kind of climate that we're in right now. The position is overseen by the Public Records Act, by California election laws, Brown Act. I mean, if these laws are not properly followed, I'm telling you, you're going to have invalid acts of city council. You're going to have lawsuits. It's going to cost you a lot of money, and Oxnard really doesn't need more of that. And you know, I just want to say thank you very much for giving me the time to talk here tonight.
Thank you. Yes.
Good evening, my name is Tiffany Lopez, and I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight. I first off want to mention it's not easy to run for office. I want to commend my fellow candidates for running for city clerk. I'm born and raised in Oxnard, California. I have a very strong love for my city. I was appointed to the Community Relations Commission twice over the years, and I've chaired the Multicultural Festival. I'm also an Oxnard ambassador. I have a deep affinity to my community. I have over 10 years of nonprofit management, community outreach, and public relations, 15 years of community activism. I'm involved in a lot of things going on in Oxnard, and I've also founded 2 young professional groups in the county, Young Leader Society and the Oxnard Young Professional Group. I believe everything that Peter said about the city clerk's positions are important, but the one thing that was not mentioned is civic engagement. I'm very passionate about that. It needs to be addressed, and we need to get more people involved in elections and voter education. So I'm here, and I want to thank you all for coming today.
I just realized if you weren't here at the beginning, you don't know what this is.
I know.
You got 1 minute, this is 30 seconds, and then 10 seconds.
Can I start?
May I start? My name is Deshay Ford. I'm running for the city clerk, and I'm actually a foreigner. I'm from Arkansas. I think I'm going to finish up before Donald Trump put up that wall. But needless to say, ladies and gentlemen, I studied at the University of Arkansas. I had advanced degrees. I got a doctoral degree in psychology and history, and also I attended the University of Arkansas Law School before I went to graduate school. So, but I've been involved in politics. I was in Bill Clinton first ran for governor. I was in his campaign. I fought his campaign. I was at the university when he was a professor there. So, but your city of Oxnard, I'm linked with my candidate statement. Number one, I'm for putting a freeze on increase in water rates. And also, a lot of people do not know that you have a due process right to a hearing in case you want to challenge the water rates. The clerk to let you know that, but you do have that. I found out that through the grand jury. But needless to say, I am for providing information to the public and for transparency and also I'm for developing a commission, a police commission to oversee the police departments in terms of certain things. And also, a lot of people don't know that our city manager, he makes over $380,000. The governor of the state of California only makes $182,000. And the police chief, right? And the police chief of Santa Barbara, he only makes $111,000. We pay our police chief $240,000. So people can see why you got a problem. You have a problem. Okay?
Thank you. Okay, first question. Some of you sort of almost answered this, but you need to elaborate if you will. First question, and please, Tiffany, you'll start. What makes you qualified to be city clerk? What duties will you enforce?
Okay, like I said, I've had 10 years experience of nonprofit management, supervising staff, and been involved in all facets of the city of Oxnard. As far as I've never taken a paycheck for them, but I've been involved in numerous commissions and clubs throughout the community. And I really want to focus on collaboration and communication. Collaboration meaning working with the community manager's office, working with the neighborhood neighbor councils, working with the local organizations to get everyone involved and having effective communication.
Deshay.
Oh, please. Thank you. Reason I want to run for city clerk of this is because I want to get the information out to the public and ask you exactly what your rights are. And also, as I did mention about the due process hearing, I want to oversee expenditures. I looked at it what the city clerk does, you oversee expenditures. Because right now, there's no transparency in terms of the city manager, in terms of expenditures, things that the money they pay out. Because you know, Oxnard had a major problem a couple of years ago. The federal government district attorney was investigating the city. So you want to look at transparency, looking at all expenditures. I would like the city citizens be involved in all major expenditures that you look at, so we have transparency. So that's what we need. So the last city clerk, you didn't have transparency. You didn't do nothing but receive a salary. Okay?
You have 30 seconds.
Continue? Oh, 30 seconds? Yeah. So, but that's the main reason, guys. Oh, you get involved. So get you guys the information so you get involved. Get involved. And you can only make good decisions if you've got the information. So that's what I want to do at the office. Get the information out to you guys so you can make good decisions. And again, I mentioned the salaries and everything. I remember you guys remember Bill, California? Huh? The city manager, his salary. Look at the salaries you got here. The police chief of Santa Barbara, he only paid $111,000. We paying this guy $250,000. City manager, $380,000. Jerry Brown only makes $182,000.
Yeah.
Huh?
Thank you.
Look what he done for the state of California.
Next time. Sure, absolutely.
Sure, I'm answering.
Yeah, you did all right. What makes you qualified to be city clerk, and what duties will you enforce?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I already went on about the fact that I'm an attorney, and I really think that that's something that would be very, very helpful to Oxnard at this point. There's a lot of talk about the city clerk doing this and doing that, but what's really important is that it's run properly and that we can trust it. If we can't trust the clerk's office, we really can't trust our city hall in general. And so I want to use my background as an attorney to be sure that the Public Records Act is properly followed, to be sure that there's transparency in our government, to be sure that the Brown Act isn't violated when the city council meets and then everything that they do isn't valid. I think this is I think that my background as an attorney is something that you guys really need, and I would like to say also that I do have some ideas for expanding the office. I mean, right now, the way it is, if you want to get a document out of the city clerk's office, you email the city clerk and hope he gets back to you in a couple days. There are ways of creating at minimal cost to Oxnard, all sorts of online services, scanning of documents, Spanish language services. I mean, nothing's in Spanish. And all the Spanish speakers in this city don't have access to the city government, the same as the English speakers. I mean, these are all projects that will not cost a lot of money, and I think will be good for Oxnard. And that's my.
Good time. I'm going to use moderator prerogative and combine two questions because you'll see why in a minute. I'm trying to figure out how best to do it. I'll just read them both. It is sometimes difficult to request documents from the city clerk's office. What will you do to make it easier to request documents? Second question, would you prioritize digitizing public documents even if the city manager is unwilling to fund the endeavor? Let us start with Deshay.
Yes, I will. I certainly believe in technology, and I certainly would digitize our records and everything. And I maintain very close monitoring of it too, in terms of with requesting documents and everything to be sure everything is done in writing. Like my good friend and attorney, I've been in law school too, so I make sure everything is done in writing and everything, and be sure to get the documents they requested, get them in a very efficient way and a very proficient way, getting documents out, and also provide you information about various laws and various statutes. You mentioned the Brown Act, and also the city council. Be sure that everything goes in the city council. When there's time to have those secret meetings, be sure that maybe that you can access those documents if it's illegal to get those documents out to the public. Because they have those closed door meetings all the time. So we want to know what's going on behind those closed doors. Yeah. But that's what I do. Just get those documents out to people. You can only make a good decision if you got those documents. See? So again, I come from an academic background. I have a doctorate degree, almost 2 doctorate degrees. And as I said, went to the University of Arkansas, and I studied political science and government, so used to government. So, again, thank you.
Okay, please, Tiffany.
Oh, I thought you, okay.
Well, these are, wait, did you, no, it's random.
Okay, well, I don't know.
I'm trying to be random. So
I'm like, wait, okay, what is the question again?
No,
It's 2 questions in one.
I'll just read them both again. It is sometimes difficult to request documents from the city clerk's office. What will you do to make it easier to request documents? And would you prioritize digitizing public documents, even if the city manager is unwilling to fund the endeavor?
Okay. I do agree. I've spoken to a lot of businesses and the frustration, and obviously and unions as well, the frustration of not getting documents on time. I do believe that comes back to the communication, working with the departments to get those documents done, and also having effective customer service at the city clerk's office with myself and the staff in the office. I do believe that we should be able to digitize documents and also think about the ever-growing technology opportunities that we have. I am young, I'm innovative, so I will come up with my team to come up with new and innovative ideas on how to provide those documents as well as in a timely manner.
I don't know how many people have had a chance to check out the Ventura County Superior Court website, but if you want to find what's in a civil case file, all you need to do is search for the case name or the case number, and then you look at a docket, and you can see everything that's in that case file, and then you know exactly what you're looking for. Can't do that with the Oxnard records, okay? Even if you want to request a document, you have to know what it is. Now, to get those things easily searchable is not an expensive endeavor. The city manager may say, okay, well, we can't afford this, but I think all it is really providing access to records that are already there that the clerks themselves can see. So it's really just providing transparency. In terms of scanning and digitizing documents, it's not very hard to scan a document and put it online. I mean, trust me, okay? At the Ventura County Superior Court, for example, they scan and have imaged the most important documents, the most requested documents. You can just walk right up to the door and say, hi, I want this judgment. Out it comes. There's no reason why we can't do that here in Oxnard. And this is not, you know, the city manager may say this is too expensive, but I'll bet you it's not very expensive and we can do it. And worst case scenario, there are grants out there. People give grants for digitizing public records, public transparency. Thank you.
And now, 1 minute for closing statement. Tiffany, young lady.
Well, again, thank you for coming today. I really want to stress about the civic engagement and voter education. That's one of the main reasons I want to run for city clerk. I really want to get the community involved. As you see here, there's about 50 or so people here. The community needs to know how to get involved. One of the areas that the city clerk oversees is the community action groups. Like, I'm on the Commission on Community Relations. The community knows, how do I get involved in a CAG? Where do I register to vote? Right now, there's not even a link on the city clerk's website to get, register to vote. There's all those things that need to be done. And of course, collaboration, communication. I'm really trying to get people energized and motivated to know, to be involved in their community and increase civic engagement. I have been a poll worker and inspector for local elections since I was 17 years old. I've been brought up in politics. I really have a deep affinity for Oxnard, and I believe if we teach our children from when they're younger, they'll be involved in the community. And that's why I've chosen to do a new endeavor and take my leadership skills in a new capacity for the city of Oxnard. Thank you.
Thank you, again, thank you for the opportunity to present. And I too, in terms of looking at efficiency in the city clerk office too, is making records more accessible. But also, as I said too, I think if the thing that I'd like to remember tonight, at the completion of this presentation, is that I told you about rates, water rates and everything, and that people have a due process right to file for a request to hearing, which I did years ago, and people not provide that information. Also, transparency, and what all the records they get, the clerk office get the records in terms of budgets. The amount of money comes in, the money goes out. You guys need to know that. You need to be sitting in on those meetings to find out exactly that. But also, I bet you towards kids too. I've been in the city 32 years from Arkansas, and this city always had problems. And what you need to go to is, as I mentioned to you about the city clerk, the city manager. You're running from Modesto, California, and you pay them over $380,000. And the Jerry Brown, our governor, only make $182,000. He saved the state. This guy did there, and still we have major financial problems. Okay, but that I'd like you to remember. If we had access that way, instead of paying those managers those top salaries, we could manage get a hold on the budget in the city of Oxnard. We'll be always in the red. You see, and we can't always use poor people or people on fixed incomes to generate water rates to pay for those large salaries. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. As I said before, I'm an attorney, and I believe that this is an office that needs to be that really is governed by laws and needs somebody who's qualified to really understand those laws and be sure that they're properly followed. That's what I want to bring to this office. I want to bring transparency. I want to bring qualifications, and I want to bring professionalism to the office. And when I said I was going to run to sort of people around town, people kept saying, "Oh, that's really good. We need somebody new in City Hall." Everybody's tied to somebody else. Everybody's got an agenda. Everybody's got a friend, a special interest. I don't have any ties to special interests. I don't have any ties to a political machine or even a party. I'm a Democrat personally, but my point is just that I'm not, running as a Democrat. This is a nonpartisan position, and so I just want you to know that, if you want, a breath of fresh air in the city clerk's office, please vote for me. And thank you very much for your time tonight.
For the speaker. Okay. 30 seconds. 10 seconds. Every time. Okay. Oh, and there's no particular order. I will. Just so you know.
So I just want to announce the names. We have Jonathan Royas, Phil Molina, Larry Stein, and Al Jones.
Thank you. First.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jonathan Royas, and I'm here tonight seeking your endorsement for the Oxnard City Treasurer position. I've been a leader all my life, and I've been a Democrat all my life. I believe I have the requisite education, leadership skills, and experience to make change in the City of Oxnard Treasurer's Office. Some of the reasons I think you should endorse me are as follows. First and foremost, I'm a husband and a father, but I'm also a collaborative business leader who thinks outside of the box. Secondly, I was a volunteer at the 2000 Democratic National Convention here in Los Angeles, so I bleed blue, all right? I received a vice presidential nomination to the United States Naval Academy by Al Gore. I attended Claremont McKenna College and received a degree in finance, economics, and government. I was a president and CEO of ASCMC, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. I was a delegate for the City of Ontario and the County of San Bernardino in China for economic development. And last but not least, I'm a Fortune 500 business executive with over $262 million in profitable assets that I've managed in the past. And at the same time, I was receiving my Juris Doctor of Law degree, all at the same time. Thank you.
At least I can count. My name's Larry Stein. I'm running for treasurer. I've been running for city offices for over 25 years. I hope to accomplish three things as the next treasurer. The first thing I want to do is help restore trust. We can't trust the numbers we're getting from city staff now. We can't get numbers we get from staff reports. One of the primary jobs of the city treasurer is to reconcile the accounts. The accounts have not been reconciled. You heard last night, staff said they have not generated fully financial statements for 6 months. Please vote for me, Larry Stein, as the treasurer for Oxnard. I will help to restore public trust, increase revenues, and decrease costs. Thank you very much for your vote.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Philip Molina. I'm running for Oxnard City Treasurer. I have 25 years direct experience as a chief financial officer for government. My last job was with the Department of Children and Family Services in LA. They have a tiny little budget of $1,750 million, and I manage that. I've managed investments all those 25 years, and thank God for a good staff. We never lost a dollar, and we always produced a higher rate of return than the local agency investment fund, which is the State of California Investment Fund. By way of education, I have a master's degree in business administration with a concentration in finance. I'm a certified public accountant. I'm a certified court mediator for Ventura County. I'm an honorable discharged Army vet. I went to OCS, graduated as second lieutenant back in the day when you had to get drafted. And some of you remember those days. By way of change, people have identified that there are problems with the city's financial statements. If you looked at the audit, or if you read anything about, is that the 10 seconds up?
No, that's it.
That's it, oh, thank you.
Sorry if you didn't see the second, I'll make it. There you go. Try not to do that.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Al Jones. I'm an over 50-year resident. I was actually, I was going to say I was born and raised here, but I was born in Port Hueneme, but I grew up in Oxnard. So Hueneme gets the distinction of having me as the birthplace of Al Jones. But my background is I'm a 15-year veteran of the banking industry, and the city treasurer's office is really a banking position. It's a fiduciary of your money. When a treasurer steps into the office, there's nothing in there that belongs to the treasurer. The seat doesn't belong to the treasurer, the desk doesn't belong to the treasurer, the assets don't belong to the treasurer, it belongs to you, the residents of Oxnard. So what I plan to do is to represent you and to do what's right by you and for you. That will be my only focus from day one. I'm an Air Force veteran. I managed over $250 million in bank assets. I have the experience, I have the knowledge. I've worked on numerous boards. I ran and I was co-chair of our Homelessness Commission for over 3 years. I sat on the board for the Oxnard Chamber of Commerce. I've run my own nonprofit, and I'm a vibrant, productive citizen of Oxnard. I am one of you, and I want to represent you.
Great, thank you. All right, let's start with Philip. First question. What do you bring to the table to be the treasurer of Oxnard?
Well, other than my education, I bring the experience. I have been the treasurer for over 25 years. I've been an interim city manager for 9 months. I've invested hundreds of millions of dollars over that period of time, and I'm fortunate to say I've never lost a single dollar, but I have in fact generated more than enough money to pay for my salary and the salary of the people in the finance department at the time. Plan to do the same by making sure that every single dollar which the city currently holds is invested. Right now they have over 10 different bank accounts, and that's ridiculous. We need to bring that money together in one bank account so we can invest all that money. Thank you.
Okay, that was 30, but that's good. Short is okay. Short is okay. Larry, please.
I'm a great accountant, also a former computer programmer, and bring analytical skills to the job. I've been following the city's finances for over 20 years, and points are being made that we're not doing things correctly. For example, the current rate of return on our long-term investments is less than 1%. Less than 1%. Meanwhile, we're paying 3 to 4% on our bonds. So why is our city treasurer investing money at 1/3 the rate she could be investing in at? Because we're paying 3%, she's investing at 1%. We're losing money right there. We're paying over $1 million a year in fees to the banks for credit card processing. Other government agencies charge people for paying by credit card. So I bring experience and actual knowledge and analytical skills to this position, which is why I outstand the other candidates here, because they have strong managerial skills, but I don't think they have the technical knowledge of getting down to earth and getting the work done. Thank you.
Right, Jonathan.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying earlier tonight, I have a world-class education. I've gone to some of the finest institutions. I've studied finance, economics, government. These institutions, that's what they focus on. On top of that, I have my law degree. So there's a lot of legal policies, statutes that need to be followed in the treasurer's office. Those haven't been followed in several years here in the city of Oxnard. I have the ability to go in and look at those policies, look at those statutes, make sure that we are compliant. One of the biggest things that was discovered in the recent audit is that there were over 107 internal audit discrepancies in our financial system that showed there was a lack of accountability, a lack of controls, and no oversight. What I will be able to go do is bring to the table, with my experience in Fortune 500 companies, I've been able to go into districts and stores and help managers, help leaders that were running underperforming buildings and stores make themselves profitable again. By looking at their profit and loss statement, by helping them implement ways to go in and make sure that there are processes in place so that internal audit and financial results occur. If you guys, you'll get to read some of my bio statements later. I'll speak more on that.
Al, please.
May I have the question one more time?
Sure. What do you bring to the table to be the treasurer of Oxnard?
Well, the biggest thing I bring is that I grew up in this city. I've lived in every facet of the city. I have banking experience, and I have the ability to get out of my own way. I have no ego. I don't care about a high position as it relates to what it means to me. I want to represent my city. Everything that I've done up to this point has been representing my city, all the way from being on boards, doing nonprofits, working on the Homelessness Commission. So I don't have an ego as it relates to this job. I want to do the work of the citizens of Oxnard. I'm a part of the Oxnard. I was raised by Oxnard. I went through Little League Baseball, Little League Football. I did all the things of Boys and Girls Club. So I understand what it takes to raise a young person. I understand it takes a village. I've been a part of the village. I've served my country, and now I'd like to serve my city.
Okay, let's start with you, Larry. This is an office where trust, integrity, and ethics are paramount. Why are you the best qualified to represent those qualities?
Well, I don't know if I'm the best person, but I think I'm the best qualified person of 4 candidates running for this position. Ethics, I heard about ethics once, and I think I got over it. In all seriousness, we have a lack of ethics in the city, and I believe I have a very strong ethical background. I've given up work, I've lost jobs because of my ethics. That's how far I go when it comes to ethics. I'm a nuts and bolts type of person. I get down to the numbers, and I find out what's causing numbers and the source of problems. One of the issues we have is poor investment. That's been alluded to. We have lack of controls. That's been alluded to. Our current treasurer is not following the laws, not doing her job, and I know how to do the work, and I've done similar work the last 20 years with small and large companies. Thank you very much for your vote.
Al,
Yes, sir.
please.
May I have the question one more time,
Yes.
please?
This is an office where trust, integrity, and ethics are paramount. Why are you the best qualified to represent those qualities?
Okay, I think I'm best qualified because of my banking background. As a banker, you're a fiduciary. This job is nothing but a fiduciary job. And I shouldn't say that it's nothing but, because there's other components to it that bring into the staff, how do you, customer service, and some other things. But my military background, along with my banking background, gives me the ethics to do this job. I really believe in transparency. I believe that this money belongs to the citizens and the residents of Oxnard, and I'd like to prove that to the residents by being your representative and being in office and being totally transparent, showing everything. It's not my money, it's your money. There's nothing to hide. Why should we have a system that does not allow you to have access to what your money is, what it is doing, and how it's manifesting itself? So when I'm elected into the city treasurer's position, I will be completely transparent, I'll be completely honest, and you have my commitment and my pledge.
Thanks. Jonathan?
All right. So we talk about honor and integrity. That was the question, right? Well, as I mentioned before, in order to get in the United States Naval Academy, that's their guiding principles, right? The honor, integrity. Those are some of the principles that we discussed every single day while we were there. I should also add that in order in my efforts to obtain my law degree, I also have to go through the California State Bar. If anybody's ever done that, there's a moral character examination. They examine every day of your life since you were in high school. They go back and they talk to neighbors, friends, family. I've gone through that process and passed that process. But I think more importantly, what we need to talk about tonight is trust and integrity in the office and what that means to you guys. And for the last few years, we've seen in the city of Oxnard, there's been absolutely no transparency, no honesty. What you're going to get from me as a city treasurer is you're going to be able to get those answers. You're going to be able to get easy to access financial reports that are going to be understandable, that you're going to be able to see them, and you're going to be able to understand exactly what's going on and where your money's going. And still, as of this day, there are answers that have not been solved. So I'm going to make sure that your money, when you entrust it with me, you guys are the shareholders of the taxpayers' money, and you're also the customers, and you deserve to have answers at all times. And at any time, my door will be open to give you those answers.
Great, thanks. And Phil, please.
Would you repeat the question?
Sure. This is an office where trust, integrity, and ethics are paramount. Why are you the best qualified to represent those qualities?
Okay, I'll tell you a story that happened to me while I was with the city of Oxnard. A developer, a very big developer, owed the city $2,600,000. That was his fee. His financier came to me and he said, "We don't have that money, but let me give you these foreign exotic currency and you hold it for me, and then when the project's all done, then you can give me those exotic foreign currency back." What would you do? It's a large developer. He's pressuring the council members. I told him, "Sir, thank you, but we cannot accept that. We need American legal tender or some kind of obligation for the federal government." I was terminated because I took that position. That's what ethics means to me. Thank you.
Thank you. I think you should go ahead and continue what you just said. How far would you rock the boat to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of Oxnard? And we'll just
continue.
Roll it right in.
It's interesting for you to note that 2 federal district courts and 2 Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals said that the city had absolutely no evidence to justify the reason for terminating me. So, but the other question is, what do you do? I've been telling the council that what they need to do is they need to see the warrant register every single week so that they can in fact see how your money is being spent. They refuse to do that. City manager doesn't want to send that to the council. General law cities are supposed to do that unless they get an excellent CAFR. We haven't had a CAFR in over 2 years. Still, the city manager won't let those warrants, which are checks, be seen by the council and the public before they're issued.
Okay, let me reiterate. The first time you see this is 30 seconds left. Okay. And then the second time you got 10. You're doing great. I'm not
I'm glad you
complaining.
don't have a little switch though.
I can drop you right through the floor if you like, but we don't have a way to get you back up here, so I'm gonna get to the next question, so. Somebody got a rope? So, Al, please, go ahead and,
Yes, sir. May I have the question one more
yes,
time, please?
how far would you rock the boat to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of Oxnard?
Well, first of all, that's a kind of tricky question, but I have no desire to rock the boat. I wouldn't be in office to rock the boat. What I do is try to glue the boat back together. I just think that collaboration and a willingness to meet with people, understand people first. I think one of the first duties I would have is, before I sat in the seat, is walk over to the finance department, introduce myself, get to know that person first as personal, so we have a relationship that we can build on. Then from there, I would look to get a business relationship with the finance director. And one of the audits, one of the main focal points on from the Treasury Department was that there wasn't communication between the Treasury Department and the finance department. So as far as rocking the boat, I have absolutely no desire to do that. As far as bringing our city together, that's what I would be about.
Okay, please.
Oh, could I please have a question?
How far would you rock the boat to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of Oxnard, like I just did?
Okay, excellent. Well, you know, the first part, how far would you go? Well, at the end of the day, first of all, the buck has to stop here, and with the city treasurer's position, it's just being completely open and honest and transparent with the people of the city of Oxnard. And what's gone on for these past years, that's just completely unacceptable. You're not gonna have to worry about that coming from my office. But in terms of how far would I have to go, again, it's really about being completely open and transparent with all the members of the public. And when I get in there, I can guarantee you we're gonna find a lot more stuff that we still haven't uncovered that's going on in there. And at the end of the day, my job, first of all, I have no ties to City Hall. I'm not a politician. This is my first run here. I'm doing this because I want to make a change. So I'm going to go in there, I'm going to build the relationships I have to build, but at the end of the day, if I find things that the public needs to be aware of, you're going to find out about them. And you're also going to need to help. We're going to have to work together as a team to figure out how we're going to get out of the situation. We're going to do that. We're going to make those decisions together. And on top of it, I'm not against. One of the things that
On the way back, go ahead and finish.
Oh, okay. One of the things that I'll make sure to do is I'm going to partner with some of the best other cities in the United States. I don't care where I have to go to do that. And I'm going to partner with them and make sure that we put great things in place for the city of Oxnard. You got to learn from who's doing it best, right? So.
Okay, put a switch in the button. It's the seat stop.
I don't have to rock the boat any more than I already have. I have a very good relationship actually with finance. The only person I don't have a good relationship is our interim CFO. She doesn't take phone calls. But I work with the current finance manager and her supervisor. Well, Set's only been in the city 2 months, but she's already called me several times on helping get issues resolved. It's very important not so much to rock the boat, but get answers and resolve issues. When City Council does not ask for monthly financial statements, that's on City Council. When City Council doesn't ask for financial reports on a quarterly basis, that's on City Council. So I'm here to encourage City Council to start asking for reports so they can be delivered, so not only the Treasurer can provide the information, but the City Council can get information and get it in a timely fashion. We are responsible to the citizens of Oxnard. We have policies in place not being enforced and need to be enacted, and we need the support from City Council so that we can do our jobs. And this is why I want to be your treasurer, because I believe I can get support from City Council, get policies and issues resolved and enacted. Thank you for your vote.
Stay up, Larry, please. Time for closing statements. May as well. Go ahead, please.
I have cards on the table back here. The 3 things I want to help do is restore public trust, increase revenues, and lower our costs. As concerned citizen, I've identified many invoices that the city's paid with no backup. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Invoices being submitted, being paid with no sufficient backup. We can lower our costs just by making sure that invoices for services are actually being performed and not just pay the invoices. We increase our revenues by improving our investment policy. We have some great talent here who knows how to invest policy. The city will not go wrong by electing any one of us. But I ask for your vote because I'm a nuts and bolts guy. I get down to the nitty gritty and I know how to do analytical research to get information for the citizens of Oxnard. So I want to help restore public trust. I want to increase our revenues and lower our cost of operations. I'm going to work for free.
Jonathan, please.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, when you endorse Jonathan Royas to be your next city treasurer, what you're going to get from me is you're going to get a world-class education, experience, and leadership. You know, the United States Naval Academy's motto is leaders to serve our nation, and that's exactly why I'm here doing this, because I want to make a change. I will never falter in my honor and in my integrity and my trust with the people of the city of Oxnard. All right? I will bring accountability. I will bring trust and transparency to the city. Some of the things that we haven't even breached the subject on that I already have ideas for that will be coming out in my plans that I will be sharing with you. What about economic development? We haven't even talked about that. Part of my career, I've dealt and done economic development in the city of Ontario and the county of San Bernardino. How do we build that here in the city of Oxnard? But we can't even get there until we get our financial house in order. I will help bring that. So on election day, please make sure to vote for Jonathan Royas' strong leadership dedicated to securing our future. Thank you.
My closing statement to you folks is, number one, thank you all for participating. It's nice that people still care about our community. It's late in the evening, it's almost 9 o'clock, and you are here to listen to us candidates, so I really appreciate it. I really want to emphasize my banking background. This is really a banking job. I've managed over $250 million in assets. The city has somewhere between $100 and $130 million in investable assets. I am an Air Force veteran, and I'm a leader, a very strong leader. And as regional vice president, I ran 6 branches. I had over 50 people under my tutelage, and I helped a lot of young people matriculate onto the next level. I'll bring those same talents into the office. So one of the things I want to do is respectfully ask for your vote, but not only ask for your vote, but ask for your support as well, because support is needed to get the right person in office, someone who's going to do the job that we want to employ them to do, but also somebody who's going to understand the needs of the citizens, because they are one. They've lived here most of their life. They understand. I've lived in every facet of the city, from growing up in La Colonia to Rose Park. I've been to the outhouse to the White House, and I know everything in between. So I understand poverty, I understand middle class, I understand upper class, and I understand the things that people need. So thank you for your support.
And
I too would like to thank you for the time you've taken to come here. I think I passed out my business cards to most of you. And if you just look at the back, the front identifies my qualifications for the job, okay, in terms of my degrees and whatnot. But the back identifies what I intend to do. I'm going to maximize city earnings by getting all that money together. We actually have over $300 million of investments, but technically we should have close to $400 million. The problem is the money is scattered everywhere. I need to get that money in and invest that extra $100 million. We're going to secure the city's assets. The audit has identified that wire transfers are being done. Security codes are everywhere. We don't have control over the security codes to do wire transfers. I'm going to do that. I'm going to work with the staff to help them identify weaknesses so we can strengthen it. Thank you.
all right, thank you very much. That's closing statements for all of you.